Good good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Public Safety Committee meeting this morning. We have one item, and I'm getting a phone call, which I'm trying to hang up on. We have one item on the agenda today. It's a work session on the supplemental appropriation number 2262 to the FY22 operating budget, Montgomery County Government, Montgomery County Fire and Rescue Service General Personnel and operating costs for $13,900,000. As we begin, I know Councilmember Hucker is joining us, and Councilmember Hucker has joined us. Council President or Councilmember Hucker, do you have anything to say as we begin? No?
Mr. Chair, sorry my staff meeting ran long.
Believe me, we understand how that can work. And before we call Ms. Farag, who has done an excellent job once again for developing this packet, I would like to ask the Fire Chief, Chief Goldstein, if he has any opening remarks.
Yep. Good morning, gentlemen and ladies, and let's go.
Thank you, and welcome Ms. Silverman as well. And with that, Ms. Farag, would you like to please lead us through the packet?
Sure. As you stated, this is a supplemental appropriation for $13.9 million to the fire department. It is needed this year in FY22 to address some projected overruns, both for personnel expenses and operating costs. There are two pieces to this. The first is the structural overtime deficit, which the committee has discussed for several years in a row. They've had some overtime cost overruns since about FY17. And as you know, from prior discussions, much of this overtime is caused by insufficient staffing. County Stat had done a study back in 2018 that determined that the fire department needs 180 career firefighter positions to achieve minimum staffing requirements without the use of overtime. Some overtime is necessary, so that's an unrealistic goal there, but there does need to be some addition of positions in order to meet these overtime needs. The county executive has addressed that for a couple of years. He did add 20 firefighter positions in the FY20 budget. And he added $2.2 million in the overtime budget, which reflected the impact of several years' worth of general wage adjustments. And the county executive also added 10 paramedic training positions in the FY22 budget. And this helped address backfill overtime that's used when firefighters attend paramedic training. And if you'll recall, he initially had recommended 20 paramedic training positions back in the FY21 budget. Unfortunately, that hit right as COVID hit and tax revenue tanked. The council had made a global decision to deal with a continuity of services budget at that point and didn't approve any additional services at that time. So those 20 positions were not approved, but even last year's discussions, it was said that 20 positions would have been a more accurate assessment of the needs rather than the 10. So at this point, they have 30 that they've chipped away at the 180 position deficit. There's a historical chart on page 2 of overtime overruns. And I just wanted to note, it starts getting pretty bad in FY17. In both FY11 and FY16, there were no recruit classes, 0 for the fire department. They were due to savings plans and other fiscal constraints during budget deliberations. And since that time, not being able to fill those positions, it correlates with the significant increase in the overtime costs. The next piece is operational expenditure overruns. These are in 5 different pots: vehicle maintenance and repair, snow removal, facilities maintenance, wireless communications, and insurance. These costs are not quite as predictable as overtime, although vehicle maintenance and repair seems to be pretty consistent in the cost overruns for the past several years. I do want to note that the FY23 recommended budget from the county executive does include an additional $1.85 million for fleet maintenance, $1.15 million to address facilities maintenance, and $500,000 for the wireless communications. For this piece of the supplemental appropriation, it's providing approximately $4.8 million for the projected year-end operational expenditure overruns. And there's charts on historic spending on pages 2 and 3 in those different areas. I am recommending approval as submitted. Generally, this is handled as an end-of-year transfer, but it's come over the past couple of years as a supplemental appropriation. I want to note again that particularly for overtime, these overruns are predictable and should be more appropriately budgeted each year, or even better, have additional staff added so that these overtime costs aren't necessary. And I also wanted to note that there's a proposed general wage adjustment this year of almost 5%, and that should be considered when developing overtime budgets moving forward too. Again, recommending approval, but this will continue to be a budget issue in the council's budget review process, and you are tentatively scheduled to review the fire's budget on April 20th.
Thank you very much, Ms. Farag. And I guess this is of you and of Chief Goldstein. Even if we had budgeted for the additional personnel, whatever that number would have actually been, could we have actually even hired the additional personnel? Would there have been? I mean, are there enough people applying, et cetera, that we would have been able to even hire the additional personnel?
So this year, possibly we would have, yes. Last year, my answer was no, because we limited our recruit class size to 40 positions. We were allocated 57 in the budget. That was in the beginning of 21's COVID surge. When that class started, and we for safety measures capped it at 40 personnel. Those 17 positions were used by the executive and legislative branch as a cost savings in that budget year, but we structurally limited it because of safety reasons at the academy. So this year, yes. Last year, no. In future years, by all means, now that recruiting is back in person full swing and back at in-person job fairs and other activities, we are look forward to a increase in applicant numbers. In the future tests, we usually have an entrance exam process in the December to January timeframe each end of the year. So that'll be our good metric in about 6-7 months to see where that number is this year compared to last year.
Okay. Good.
And if I could just mention also, there's the issue of sufficient applicants, but then there's also kind of a natural cap on the number of recruits that the department can bring in any year, just based on the capacity of the training academy. So that's something that we also consider as we're putting together the budget.
And that's a very valid point as well. I appreciate you pointing that out. I guess in general, I certainly am in favor of this recommendation, and I think we need to figure out what's the next best steps forward. I mean, and the other thing is, and I guess at some point, because we're talking budgets and overtime, the question becomes, if we were able to hire the additional personnel, how much would we actually be saving by the time you pay for the additional personnel, and versus what you're paying in overtime by all the expenses associated with overtime? How much are we actually saving, or are we saving when we would do that? So there's got to be what they used to say, there's got to be a spot on the graph paper, and Tom's cat certainly is going to help out with this answer. This is the way to start a Monday morning, by the way.
He loves budget hearings.
What'd you say, Tom?
He loves budget hearings. I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen, who doesn't? But there's got to be a spot on the graph paper where the numbers actually work as well, and so we probably need to get that information while we're going through budgets. But any other comments from my colleagues? No.
Same story every year. It feels like I do wish I agree with Ms. Farag. It'd be great to not just see this coming, but actually prevent it in the future. Both, the hiring I know is easier said than done, but the budgeting and the more accurate estimation would be nice as well.
Yeah, it's like the old story. This is deja vu all over again. So
yeah.
Anyhow, unless there's any concern, we should do this by acclamation. Or is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Very good. This is approved by acclamation. Ms. Farag, do you have anything else for us today?
I don't. Thank you.
Thank you all very, very much for being with us. We are adjourned. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Great. Bye-bye.